Alrighty. So the feet are so important, and so many patients that we see or clients that come into the office have issues with their feet, whether it's swelling, circulation problems, foot pain, plantar fasciitis, flat arches, etc. And we're going to kind of cover a lot of that today. So, our feet are our foundation. If you guys think about a house, for example, the foundation of a house or a building is very, very important. It's important that it's strong, that it doesn't have any structural imbalances, because that's what holds everything up. Our feet are the same way. There is some practitioners that all they address is the feet. They believe everything else is a compensation. So if you get the feet balanced and in a good, healthy place, everything else goes back into alignment. And there's some truth to that. That's how important the feet are. So the feet have 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, ligaments, tendons, etc. So, as you can see, there's a lot going on, and that's how intricate and important it is to address the health of our feet. So, the feet do a lot that we don't think about. A lot of times, unless your feet are really in pain, we're not necessarily looking at them and addressing them. And that's why we want to educate you guys all about the feet, because just like any other area of the body, maybe you're more aware of your back or a shoulder because of an injury, or your hips are always tight. And so you do things to take care of your body, right? You use a foam roller, you stretch, you exercise to stay nice and strong. The feet are just as, if not more important, something we should be taking care of on a daily basis. So I want to give you guys all sorts of tools to do that today. So again, for those of you that have just logged on, feel free to throw any questions in the comments if you have specific ones. Okay, so one thing we can do for our feet, which of course I'm a chiropractor, so this is going to be my number one piece of advice, is to see a chiropractor. Okay, getting adjusted at Be Optimal, we do adjustments and work on the feet a lot. So getting your feet adjusted is there's misalignments or areas in the feet that are really tender or weak or don't move well. Like I see this a lot of times with the ankle joint, gets very stuck or not mobile. There's nothing like a chiropractic adjustment for those sorts of things. So if you're having a specific issue, highly recommend booking an appointment to get that looked at from a chiropractic perspective. So that can be a huge help, but we don't all go to the chiropractor every single day, right? So there's lots you can do. One of the first things I want to address is footwear and the things we put in our shoes. So, number one, I want to talk about orthotics. So, my view on orthotics, which is like inserts you put in your shoe to help you gain more stability for your feet, is for some people they're right, for a lot of people they're wrong. I do my best to help my patients get out of orthotics so they don't need them. In my view, the feet are created to be the perfect mechanism and should be able to hold all of our weight up and propel us, and we should be able to stand all day without pain. Our feet are designed to do that. Our ancestors didn't wear shoes, right? And, they were okay. So our feet are kind of the perfect instrument for us. We shouldn't need a ton of other stuff for our feet to feel pain free. If that's you and you're like, I cannot function without my orthotic, then there's probably deeper balances going on. So I prefer to more look at the root cause and where the weaknesses are that lead you to be in the place that you need an orthotic so badly to be pain free. Now that takes work, right? So if people aren't necessarily in the place to do exercises and work on your feet and all of that, you might need an orthotic to be pain free. But for the most part, that means there's weaknesses and dysfunction going on in the foot. Okay, so that's kind of my view on orthotics. Um, Now, another kind of hybrid option I really love that we use at Be Optimal are called cork heel lifts. So they're really thin, it just goes in the heel of your shoe. They're made of cork, so they're very flexible and can move well. And they just provide enough lift to support the feet. So if you're the type of person you have to be on your feet all day long, by the end of the day, your feet are really sore, a cork heel lift could be a great, at least temporary solution while you're working on those imbalances, maybe trying to find a shoe that's the best fit for you, etc. So we do have those at the office and use them quite a bit with patients that need a little bit of support. Okay, so I want to take you guys through how to find a good shoe. One of my best tricks is I'll take a piece of paper. Okay. What you do is you take the piece of paper, you stand on it with one foot, and you trace the outline of your foot on the piece of paper. It's important that you do this with weight in your foot. Okay. You don't want to just hold your foot up and trace it because the feet get wider when we stand on them. Okay. So then, as crazy as this sounds, when you go into the shoe store, you take your piece of paper with your tracing, put it down on the ground. The shoe you're looking at that you're wondering, does the shoe fit me well? Just place it on top of the paper. If you can see any of the lines on the outside edges of that outline, it means the shoe is not wide enough. And this is one of the most common problems I see with people with shoes. They are not wide. If you go through your closet and look at most of your shoes, especially for the women on this call, most of your shoes are probably not shaped like a foot, right? They're like very narrow or they come to a point at the end. Even a lot of running and workout shoes, they're pointy in the toes. If you look at your foot right now, our toes are not pointy. That is not the shape of your foot. Okay. Feet are actually wide and the toes should splay, kind of just like your hand. And shoes need to be wide enough for that. Otherwise, your foot is always compressed. And that can lead to tons of issues like plantar fasciitis is a big one. Okay. So I highly recommend doing the tracing thing if you're actually going into stores right now, or if you're ordering shoes online, do your tracing when you get them in the mailbox, like check it out. Okay. But I find a lot of people should be in a wide shoe that aren't, and should be in a shoe that's around a half size bigger than what they're currently wearing. So when you put a shoe on, your the sides of your feet shouldn't be splaying over the edge of the shoe. A lot of people notice this when they step in a shoe, the sides of their feet are like over the edge. Shouldn't do that. And your toes should, all five of your toes should be able to move. For many people, like their pinky toe can't move or their big toe can't move very well because again, too narrow. Okay. So check that out. Go through all your shoes. And look, I understand there's fashion shoes and there's shoes for every day, right? If you're going to a wedding, you're going to an event, you're dressing up for something, you're wearing your heels, that's fine. But the day-to-day shoes I find that most people are wearing are not great for their feet. Okay. So that's one thing to look for in a shoe. Another thing I want to talk about is heel to toe ratio. This is a really important concept to understand. So, most shoes, I was going to show you guys an example, but I've got rid of all my bad shoes, so I don't have any. Most shoes, especially athletic shoes, but any shoe, if you think about the sole of the shoe, the heel is thicker and taller than the toe. Right. So think about traditional running shoes or walking shoes, workout shoes, right? The heel is like this thick, the toe is like this thin. That means every time you are on your feet, you're slightly in what we call plantar flexion, slightly on your toes. Even if it's just a few centimeters, you're slightly rocked forward. That completely changes your biomechanics. It makes the calves and the Achilles super, super tight. If you guys think about like going back to the example that our foot is like the perfect mechanism to propel us, it's throwing it off from our natural balance of how we're meant to be. So I really prefer to wear myself and to get my patients into what's called a zero drop shoe. So zero drop shoe means the heel to toe ratio is the same. Okay, so if the heel is a 1 inch thick cushion, the toe is a 1 inch thick cushion. The same, okay? Not like at a slant. That's very important. Even that tiny difference can make a huge difference for how people's feet feel, especially if you're the type of person that has your calves are always tight, you're getting charging horses, your Achilles is always inflamed. It'll make a big difference to fix that heel to toe ratio and let that stretch out. It's almost like you're in a high heel all the time, just on a really small scale. It can make a big difference, especially for people that are on their feet all day. So look at heel to toe ratio. I'm going to give you guys some of my favorite brands that are good with this. But check that out for yourself. You might realize like, oh my gosh, yeah, all of my shoes have a little bit of a heel. Okay. So that's very important. I talked a little bit about having your toes be able to move. Okay. For that, of course, you need a shoe with a wide toe box. So we want to avoid the super, super pointy toes. So look for one that's actually shaped like a foot. If you look at our foot, we're wide in the toes. It's the widest part of your shoe or of your foot. Okay. But another important thing is that you let your toes move. So I am totally converted to toe socks. Okay. As crazy as that sounds, I've made them come back. They're back in style. My favorite brand is called Injinji, which I can put in the comments, like links to everything I mentioned, you guys, because it's going to be a lot. But they actually make toe socks now that are like athletic socks. You wouldn't know they're toe socks unless you didn't have your shoes on. But once I got a feel for that, I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so much better. Like, even in especially athletic socks can actually also really compress your toes together and they're not able to move how they're supposed to. So, like, if you're watching this and you're a runner, you will absolutely feel a difference wearing toe socks because you can get that full range of motion with your toes to propel you forward. It's a big deal. So, I highly recommend toe socks, playing around with that. And so I want to drop a few of my favorite brands. Okay. None of these are sponsored. These are all brands I've tried over the years and loved. So, number one is Vivo Barefoot. These shoes are amazing. I wear them almost every day. They're like my everyday shoe. They're very simple. You can work out in them. They're great for strength training and lifting, and just wearing around like I wear them to the office and around town. Um, Amazing shoe. They really do their due diligence to make sure they're very biomechanically sound. Now, for a couple of these shoes I'm going to talk about, if you're used to very, very supportive, stiff shoes, you're going to want to make this transition slow. You're not going to want to go from wearing like clunky Asics or New Balance or something like that to a minimal shoe all day. Your feet will hurt because your feet aren't used to utilizing all those muscles to hold you up. They're used to a shoe holding you up. So, if you're going to go more barefoot, which I recommend to almost everyone, do it slow. Buy a pair of these like more minimal shoes and wear them for an hour a day or 30 minutes a day and slowly build up to where then you can wear them all day or even forget the shoes and just start going barefoot more or in socks more to, if you are always in the house in like a house shoe or a slipper, try some time at home with no shoes on so your feet can start working. We talked about all of those muscles in the foot. It's just like, if you laid in bed for a month and didn't use your muscles, you would be weaker, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. It's the same with your feet. So if our feet are reliant on shoes to hold them up, they get lazy. They don't do their job. So start experimenting with being barefoot more. Okay. So Vivo Barefoot, obviously it's in the name, is definitely more barefoot minimal shoe. So someone just asked, by wearing them, do you strengthen your feet muscles? Yes. When you are in a more minimal shoe, that's why I love them. You're strengthening at the same time, but giving yourself a little bit of protection, right? I don't love walking around town barefoot. I might step on something sharp. So there's still like a barrier for your feet, but you're going to be able to really strengthen your feet at the same time. Okay. Another brand I really like is called Ultra Running. These are amazing if you're transitioning from really clunky shoes and want to have a more barefoot, minimal, wider toe box, better shoe. They actually have a pretty decent cushion. Um, so if you have like sensitive feet or feet that tend to get sore and tired really quickly, this is a great transition shoe for you. Ultra Running. Okay. Next one, New Balance Minimus. I actually don't like a lot of New Balance shoes because they're pointy toe central, but New Balance Minimus, they were like the original minimal shoe, and they still do a really pretty good job. Now, with all of these, you guys, you've got to find what works for you. For example, New Balance don't fit my feet great. They run a bit small, in my opinion. I love Vivo Barefoot better. But it's all like this is just me over years of trying different shoes and finding what I like. Okay. Um, Zero Shoes, it's Xero, is another amazing barefoot, very wide toe box brand. They also make like a hiking boot version. Like they have a lot of cool stuff going on and they're very affordable. I've had a lot of patients that rave about them. If you're really nerdy, you can get yourself a pair of Vibram, which is the toe shoe. I have 2 pairs. I'm too embarrassed to wear them most of the time. But if you wanna rock it out, there's nothing more biomechanically sound than wearing the toe shoes. But they're super nerdy, so I don't blame you for not doing them. And then I wanted to mention this brand I just discovered for kids. This is an amazing shoe. The brand is 10 Little, like the number 10 Little. They were developed by a doctor who wanted to make a really biomechanically sound shoe for children because we all do it. We want to buy our kids cute shoes, but they're not very functional for their feet. And it's very important, while, especially while kids are growing and developing, that they're in good footwear. And most kids are not in good shoes. And so they're very wide. It's minimal on the bottom. There's 0 heel to toe drop. They're Velcro. Like, thank goodness I have a toddler. Tying shoes is a whole ordeal. And they're actually really cool. They have this crazy algorithm where they email you when your kid's like grown out of their shoe. And in the insole, you can take it out and you just plop your kid's foot down and it tells you when the shoe is too small. So they're amazing. I can't say enough good things about them. 10 Little. Okay, so that's kind of most of the stuff on shoes I wanted to talk about. Again, just a stress, if you're peeling back and going more minimal, start slow. Do 30 minutes a day. Make sure that feels good for a week or 2, then increase and increase and increase. But order a pair of more minimal shoes and start trying them out. You know, when you just take a quick trip to the store, wear them to get your feet used to it. Okay. Now I wanted to give you guys some exercises you can do to help strengthen your feet, because this is also very important. Like, we need to work out our feet just like we do any other part of our body. To that, I would say, for those of you that are like streaming at home workouts, doing stuff like that, try doing a workout in a minimal shoe or for half of your workout or barefoot. There's actually been research studies done on Olympic weightlifters that they are able to max get their personal record, their best power lift weight out of anything when they're barefoot. So there's the most proprioceptors in your body, which like sense where you are in space in the bottoms of your feet. So you're actually able to feel the ground and recruit the muscles in your body the best when you're barefoot. Any layer of interference to that is going to kind of buffer those sensations. So even socks, a little bit less, a barefoot shoe, a little bit less. And as you get clunkier and clunkier, you can't feel the ground, you know? And a lot of people notice that even just energetically, they feel more grounded when they're barefoot. A lot of people intuitively do this, right? You get to the park or the beach and you're like, get my shoes off. I want to go get in that sand. There's a reason. Your body craves that. And so I'm all about being barefoot as much as possible. Okay, couple exercises. Number 1, this one is with all you need is a washcloth or a hand towel and your bare feet. This one is super easy to do for all you people working at home, sitting like this behind a Zoom screen. Grab your little towel, put it down. All you're going to do, pretend like my hand is my foot, scrunch it, pick it up, drop it. Okay, do it a bunch of times on one foot, bunch of times on the other. A lot of people notice that one side is significantly more difficult or less coordinated than the other side. Very common will be like your weaker, your non-dominant side. That is a great way to just activate all those muscles in the bottoms of your feet. Those are the muscles that hold your arch up, that keep your feet nice and strong. So that's super easy. You're watching a TV show, you know, getting through some emails, just towel scrunch. Okay. Another one, and you guys can look this up on YouTube. There's a million videos, but I love doing toe mobility drills. This is something no one trains enough, and it's absolutely a game changer for your feet. So it looks like this. Your feet are on the ground. Pretend my hand is my foot. Okay. You can do this sitting with your feet on the ground or standing, whatever feels better to you. And you're going to practice moving your toes independently. So, first thing you can do is practice just raising all of your toes up, all 5. So, if this is the ball of my foot, it's still on the ground. I'm raising all 5 toes up and down, up, down, up, down. Okay. Other side, other foot, do the same thing. Then try keeping all your toes down except your big toe. Raise just your big toe up, keep the other ones down. Okay, try that on the other side. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. Like my brain is trying to get my foot to do it and I can't. That's something you should be able to do. Then you can try and keep your big toe down and raise all of your other toes up while your big toe's down. That's really important if you're a runner, if you're an athlete, you want that big toe to be nice and strong and be able to grip. Okay. Try it on the other side. Then you can try just raising your pinky, keeping the other ones down. So there's all different variations of this you can do. And this again is something you can do while you're just sitting around. That's why I love foot stuff. It's like so easy to just bring into your daily practice. Okay. Another tip, I got two more tips for feet stuff. Ball. This is my favorite thing to have. This is a lacrosse ball. There's special like mobility soft tissue balls you can buy, but a lacrosse ball does just fine. You can use a golf ball, you can use a tennis ball, but I think lacrosse ball is the sweet spot of being like rubbery and hard. It's not too squishy, but it's not super hard like a golf ball. So you're going to take your ball, again, just like the toe drills, you can do this sitting or standing, and you're just going to roll the bottom of your foot. Okay, so I would be like on the ground doing it on my foot. Okay, the bottom of the foot is kind of like a triangle. You got your heel and the balls of your foot. So what you want to do is just kind of scan the area. You're going to find some tender spots. We all have them. Okay, and you got a couple options. You can either hold pressure into the floor. Obviously, the more pressure you put down, the deeper the stretch is going to go, and just kind of let it melt away and relax. Or you can go back and forth. You can go up, down, side to side, circles, whatever feels good. You can't really mess this up other than doing it like for too hard and for too long. So I only recommend 2 to 5 minutes on each foot for this. It is going to go pretty deep, especially with the lacrosse ball. And it's more of a neurologic thing to just get that fascia moving and blood flow and circulation than it is that you're like digging into your foot for an hour. Maria is going to talk about that in a minute. So I recommend for folks do this first thing when you get up. A lot of people, their feet are really sore first thing, like those first few steps out of bed are really tight. Keep this by your nightstand. Do it in the morning, do it before bed, before a workout. It's a great way to warm up your feet. So this is like your new best friend. I love a lacrosse ball. You can like release anything yourself onto your body with it, basically. Okay. So add that to your routine, super easy. And then the other thing you can do is use some kinesiology tape. This is a great way to help wake up your feet. If you're falling in that camp where you're like, oh my gosh, I really think I need to strengthen my feet, like we've been talking about, this can give you a huge bang for your buck. So all you do with this, I also have a video about this on my IGTV, Dr. Abby Kramer, where I show you exactly how to tape for this. So I'm not going to go into super details here, but basically you cut a strip, you slap it on the bottom of your foot. It's that simple. It turns on those proprioceptors and helps engage those muscles and helps create an awareness that you can feel your feet easier. Okay. And you can leave it on, you can shower with it. It's a great tool when you're trying to retrain the body. So tape can be another huge help. It also can really help folks in pain, like with plantar fasciitis. After a treatment or a session, you can put some tape on there to help promote circulation and blood flow and all that kind of great stuff. Okay. So I'm going to see if there's any more questions. Okay, someone asked about neuromas. There are things you can do about neuromas. Neuromas can be really finicky. So it just depends on the person. Some people can get a lot of relief from chiropractic adjustments and soft tissue work, like massage, reflexology, stuff like that. Maria might have some stuff to say about this too in a moment. And taping, the biggest thing is get out of any shoe that is compressing it. If you are in a shoe that's too narrow or too tight, it's irritating it like all day, every day. So get in a wide shoe. If they're shoes you lace up, oh, this is another thing I wanted to mention. So many people lace their shoes way too tight. We all kind of grew up, I don't know why, like everyone's parents universally is like, make sure your shoes are nice and snug. Like, no, the middle of your foot and your midfoot is supposed to be able to move. There's a lot of little bones in there. And when we lace things super tight or Velcro super tight, it's like you're in a ski boot. It really limits your mobility and can cause a lot of issues. So That's one thing you could change right away. Lace up your shoes a lot looser, like loose enough that you could almost put them on without unlacing them, and get in a really nice wide shoe. But yeah, chiropractic can be helpful for sure, and acupuncture, like alternative therapies are actually like really great for neuroma. Okay, so if there's no more questions from this end, I'm gonna kind of do a little Q&A with a couple of our other practitioners that also do wonderful things for foot health. So first I'm gonna ask Maria to unmute. So Maria is our reflexologist, and this is
There.
amazing. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
All right. So you guys on Instagram, sorry you won't be able to see her. Um, but she's going to answer some questions about reflexology. So I'm going to take my headphones off so you guys. All right, Maria, welcome.
Thank you for having.
Of course, this is great. So I'd love for you to tell us briefly, what is reflexology? Like, what can people expect when they do a session with you?
Um, well, what I do, reflexology. I press to the areas of your feet according to the body systems and body parts by using acupressure. So what it essentially does, it relaxes your feet, and uh, it helps with circulation, and it just releases the stress.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's like an hour-long foot massage. You can't beat that. So, but because it also uses stuff from reflexology, it's affecting other areas of the body too, right? Like the organ systems and stuff like that.
It does. So, for example, you mentioned aromas. So, having those areas, um, what we call them reflex, or I used acupressure. So, once I press those areas, it promotes relaxation and it helps with the circulation in the areas.
Absolutely. And reflexology is so cool, you guys, if you haven't experienced it. Like our patients will see Maria, for example, and it's interesting how a lot of the times the same stuff will come up. Like my patient will be like, oh, she really, like some of the spots she was working on, they were really tender, were like for my liver. And it's like, that's exactly what I'm working with my patients with. So it's very cool to see how it's all connected and all very supportive of the holistic model of health, which is what we do. Right, Maria?
Yes, it does. I'm just going to go a little step further that when I press those areas of the feet, I don't want to go a bit, go a little bit in the theory. We use the meridians, and as a chiropractor, then you know that meridians we have it throughout our body, and essentially what we do as a reflexologist, I press those areas of the feet, and the meridians also is all energy channels. I I hold space in that area, say your liver reflex area. Actually, no, I get a lot of adrenal reflex areas.
Hmm.
Adrenals are we hold some stress hormones in there. So when I hold when I press those areas, I release the energy in that area so that it promotes healing.
Hmm. I love it. So talk to us about, obviously reflexology can help so many things, but what are like the top three conditions people come to you for?
Um, Top three, I'm going to say, is plantar fasciitis, neuropathy,
Mhm.
and what was it? And back pain. So having those areas reflexed or
Mhm.
pressured reflexology, it it essentially stimulates stimulates the circulation and also promotes relaxation.
Mhm. I love that because I think a lot of people, of course, now we're doing this talk about the feet specifically, but I think a lot of people wouldn't think about reflexology for things like back pain or headaches or muscle tension, but it obviously can support all of that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, how do most people feel after a reflexology session?
Uh, well, it's it's all subjective. Um, my sessions usually last. I mean, some reflexology can take about 30 minutes. Can also, but for effectiveness, I suggest approximately 60 minutes.
Mhm.
And what happens? I mean, throughout the session, you may find some cleansing happening, such as let me see, some chills, some hot flashes may occur during the session. But at the end, what you'll find is relaxation.
Absolutely. I love that. And so, let's say someone wants to book an appointment with you. How frequently do you recommend that they do reflexology sessions?
Well, it all depends on what's happening with them. I'm going to take, for example, plantar fasciitis. So uh, essentially, I like to see them, if we could go at least once a week, once or twice a week for at least 5 sessions.
Mhm.
Uh, we can reassess at that time. And you should find, I guess, because plantar fasciitis can be very painful, but you should find after at least between 3 to 5, at least a third session, you should find more, no, less of a pain
Right.
happening.
There should be some relief.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Nice. And are there any contraindications? Any people that like should not do reflexology for any reason?
Yes. If you're having active infection, if you're pregnant, and I guess some kind of anything active, such as cancer, depends on the type of cancer. But if you are in that stage of under treatment with a doctor, such as you're in chemo,
Mhm.
um, I suggest to do it after the chemo treatments to come and see me, because I've had a few patients with cancer that come see me. But during when you're in active treatment with cancer, I don't recommend that.
Right. Do it more after to promote healing and help detoxify and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Maria. If you guys want to book a reflexology session or a session with any of us, you can contact the office via our website or call us. I'll give you guys all that information at the end. But Maria is amazing, and we are so lucky to have her. Yes, Dr. Carey just commented on Instagram. So if you are pregnant and coming up on your due date and want to get the baby out, reflexology can help induce labor potentially.
Oh, one other thing. What really works effectively, I've noticed with some of our patients, which I believe you're going to talk to the next person, sis.
Mhm.
I I I suggest to do a reflexology with me, and then come see sis right after, because essentially what I bring up whatever is below the surface up to the surface, and that helps sis bring whatever's from up the surface out of the
Yes, I love that. And some people in the Zoom were asking, can you do like chiropractic and reflexology on the same day or like foot detox? Like, yes, our patients love to come and have the optimal day. It is not uncommon that they will get a chiropractic treatment, some acupuncture, reflexology, a foot detox, and a facial and a wax. Like, we've got it all. You can have your entire spa day experience for yourself in one roof. And the vast majority of the time, a lot of these services are complementary. So, like you're saying, you almost get more of a benefit of doing a reflexology with Maria, getting everything moving and flowing and get circulation and blood flow to the area, and then pull out the toxins with Sis, who is up next. So, yes, you absolutely can package this stuff together unless, Dr. Carey or myself or someone has told you otherwise, but they're all very cohesive. All right. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.
Uh huh. All right. I'm going to bring Sis on here.
Sis is our detox lady. All right, sis, are you there? You
Okay.
got to unmute yourself. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
Perfect.
Okay, we're unmuted.
Okay, so sis, tell us what foot detox is.
Detox is reaching every part of your body through your feet. You have a wristband on, which is sending a slight current through your body. Your feet is in water with an ionizer. So one is giving a push, the other is giving a pull. As Maria will be moving the meridians around and you will be adjusting people, when they come to me, I could take a lot of toxins out because you have pushed them around and got them moving. And it's very relaxing. It feels like you just had a really good massage. And then the next day, you just have a lot of energy because you've never had your body flushed like that. Now, I do recommend people to do minimum of 3 because it does take at least 3 treatments to totally feel that flush. You feel lighter, you so many different parts of your body, the inflammation is taken down. And yes, the feet are amazing little things that hold us up. If there's a lot of people come to me that have arthritis, plantar fasciitis, headaches, believe it or not. Uh, you don't realize what your body goes through just walking down the street or driving in a car. Yes. Or what we're actually eating. We have no idea what we're eating anymore. So your body wasn't built for all those toxins. So by getting them released faster than your body can release them is a huge help.
For sure. And the foot detox really detoxes your whole body head to toe, right? It's not just
yes.
out of the
No,
feet.
it's not just certain points. And a lot of people come to me with sinus problems because the electric will go through the cavity of the head and will flush and open up your whole cavity of your head, and you'll get huge relief. Now, people that should not do it, someone with a pacemaker. Obviously, I'm sending electric through your body. Someone that is pregnant, you don't want to shock a baby, or someone that has epilepsy. The electric will bring epilepsy occurrence on. I've had many kids come to me that with acne, that does help flush out a lot with the acne. There's so many different areas. I mean, I could go on and on and on for hours.
For sure.
People that have parasites. Parasites are huge, huge gut problems. We all have them. You can't deny that we don't. Something has to eat up the bacteria in our body, but parasites could cause a lot of havoc in your body. And give you a lot.
And it goes back to like most chronic health issues are due to some like chemical or pathogen or something that needs to come out of the system that's like causing havoc, right? So it's like a no-brainer to detox yourself here and there at least once a season to help flush everything out.
Absolutely. Now, one girl in particular was diagnosed with autoimmune disease. And she detoxed and she was loaded with parasites. After about the 4th or 5th detox, she felt tremendously better. And all of a sudden now, no more immune problem. So, I mean, it will, when you get rid of those toxins, your body will automatically build itself back up. And you'll be shocked at how good you'll feel.
Totally. So someone asked here on Zoom, sis, how frequently can you do a foot detox?
Well, I recommend most people when they come like once a week to do it, but Me, myself, because I have the machines and I do myself twice a week.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
And that's where, it's of course dependent on the person, but like it's a safe thing for you to do very regularly. And that's where
Absolutely.
it's the benefit to come see us in the office. Like if they're working with you, sis,
Yeah.
specifically based on what comes up in their detox, you can be like, I need to see you again in 3 days.
Right.
Like, so it's obviously a personalized thing, but it's very safe for you to do regularly. It's not like you can only do it once a month or anything like
No, I mean, it's as safe as releasing the waste out of your body when you go to the bathroom. I
that.
mean,
Right.
it's safe.
Right.
Um, it's very, very beneficial. And I've never had anybody complain. I've always gotten compliments about it.
Yeah. Now, isn't it another contraindication, like Maria was saying as well, if you're in active cancer treatment?
Well, if you're in active cancer treatment and you don't want to interrupt with the doctors and their chemo or cancer treatment, whatever they're
Right.
doing, I recommend after you're done because the chemo kills a lot of cells. And what we're basically doing is we're taking dead cells out of the body. When you take dead cells out, new ones generate. You want to get into them lymphatic system. You want to kickstart the lymphatic system and get it going and move it faster. You want to get even if you were on medication, say you had a urinary tract infection and you were on medication for a while, you want to get that gunk out of your body. You want to get the medication out of your body. You don't want it to linger.
Yeah.
Because it will, even people that were in the hospital on heavy drugs, it goes into your fat cells and your fat cells hold them. That's like a lot of people, they'll say, Jesus, I gained 10 pounds because I was on such and such pill. Well, yeah, because your fat cells are holding
Right.
and you want to move that. You want to
Mhm.
get that out as fast as you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, sis.
You're welcome. You're
It's so
welcome.
helpful to have you come and talk about it because and you, Maria, with you guys' work, so people can really hear from the horse's mouth all the amazing benefits. All
Yeah.
right, I'm going to mute you, sis. So, for those of you at home, want to let you guys know both Sis and Maria are doing an amazing promotion the month of February. It's called Sweetheart of a Deal. So, if you buy 2 sessions, so like 2 reflexologies, 2 detoxes with Sis, you heard it from both of them. It's beneficial to do like a few sessions, at first to really get things flowing and moving. It's buy one, get one half off. Or like if you want to do a detox, you bring a friend, your friend will get half off. So it's a great deal. Take advantage of that, especially if you haven't done these services and you want to try them out for the first time. Take advantage of the deal that they're offering to help your feet be healthier. And yes, Dr. Carey said, after drugs are done, so post antibiotics, post cancer treatment, post steroids, post, all of those different medical interventions, which there's a time and a place they're needed. But like once you're done with the antibiotics and the strep throat is done, come get a detox for sure to help get that stuff out of your system. So, any last questions on Instagram or Facebook before we end our time together? Throw them in. And for you guys that this is your first time joining us for Dinner with the Doctors, we do this every month. It's the second Tuesday of the month, almost always. The schedule is on our website, but we do different topics every month. So you can kind of just stay connected with us and tune in when you like, or look past, back through our Facebook page, through our Instagram. Could keep you busy for a year with all of our different health classes on there you could watch. So, all right. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. For those of you on Zoom, you can hang tight for a minute because I will stop the recording and stay on for you guys if you have any specific questions. Ooh, one last minute question for you, sis. What is the minimum age that a detox can be done? Like, can kids do it?
I have done 5 years old and up. There was a family in particular that had some kind of a bug going through all of them, and the doctor recommended to do detox. So I've detoxed 5 years old and up.
Okay, nice. There you go. 5 years old and up. They obviously need to be old enough to be able to like sit still for
It's
30
still right.
minutes. That's probably the biggest factor. But yeah, there's different settings. You can be like gentle on the kiddos, and for kids that need to detox, it's a big deal these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you, sis. One more mention. The fourth Tuesday of the month, our Chinese medicine doctor, Dr. JR, does a health class as well, from kind of the Chinese medicine perspective of things. So that's a great way to learn more. And that world is so fascinating. So definitely tune into those. Same thing, 7 p.m. on Instagram and Facebook. So yeah. All right. I'm going to stop the live, and this will be uploaded and you guys can watch the replay. Thanks everyone for tuning in.